Hello, viewers. You're welcome to another episode of The Now Show, your show for overcomers and winners. And today, I shall be talking to a super winner and overcomer. Why do I call him that? You will see. Today, my guest is my brother, my friend, Tolu Aduradola.
Yeah, thank you for
Tolu
having me.
Thank you for coming.
That was my pleasure.
Wow. Thank you for doing this with us. Tolu Aduradola is a courageous young man dedicated to helping others break free from the grip of lust and sexual strongholds. Having personally overcome a decade-long struggle with pornography and masturbation addiction, Tolu now shares his powerful testimony and insights at various platforms, including TV, radio, schools, and conferences. As the author of Beneath the Shades, Overcoming the Stronghold of Porn and Masturbation, Tolu offers a message of hope and redemption. Beyond his advocacy work, he's a professional in tax practice and a devoted husband and father of two wonderful children. Through his vulnerability and expertise, Tolu aims to empower individuals to shatter the chains of lust and live a life of freedom and purpose. Once again, welcome with me to the Now Show, Tolu Aduradola.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Overcoming sexual addictions. I know that this is a topic that people will be saying, are they really talking about that?
Yeah.
But we know these things do exist, no matter how much you want to pretend about them. So sexual addictions, overcoming. So are you saying that you can actually overcome sexual addictions?
Oh, yes.
Because you have been there?
I've been there. and I've been out.
Wow.
God is keeping me out.
Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
It's very possible.
So tell us your story.
My story is interesting. I'll make it very short. So I grew up in a typical conservative Christian family. Yeah, I grew up in the church, as it were. My parents have been ministers or pastors, from before I was born. And they did their homework to raise myself and my siblings, in the way of the Lord. But somehow, somewhere, the devil takes advantage of maybe let's say lapses, uses peer pressure, uses esteem issues. And for me, my puberty rate was slow, was slower than other guys.
Okay.
And so that was a concern, right? Of course, already an esteem issue for me. Of course, long before then, I was sexually abused by a senior in GSS 2, what we call Junior Secondary School 2.
This sexual abuse by your senior, was it a male or a female?
Oh, male. The boys yourself. So that happened and it messed me up. I think that was where the low self-esteem started for me. So I was just managing, of course, I kept it to myself. You can't talk to anybody about these things. They'll tell you the guy code, this and that. You what are the slangs that they use? You lock up. So it means that just shut it out.
You just shut up.
You can't tell anybody about it. So the devil was able to manipulate and play with that in my mind. Yeah. And of course, the puberty thing. And so I had this plan, let me try to see things that will trigger my system to work so that I can be sure that I'm okay. I just wanted to prove a point, first to myself and then to others. So when guys are gisting, I can contribute to conversations around, puberty and all those stuff. And so the sincere plan was, let me watch some pictures or videos.
Okay.
And I started with pictures. There used to be magazines back then. Magazines, Playboy, magazines, back in the day. Yeah, so we were just taking pictures. But the plan was, once I check these things and it triggers my system,
yes,
and I get the results that I'm looking for to assure me that I'm fine,
that you are okay,
right, I would. It was just supposed to be a tool. But of course, the first time was not the last.
Wow.
And of course, I saw the signs. It came much later. If I tell you, I was my first year in university was when I first experienced wet dreams.
Wow.
My first year. So, and I remember vividly, I called my childhood friend, my best friend, on the phone. That's how excited I was. Hey, Manny,
It has happened finally.
So for you to know, it was a very big deal to me. But I had already started something. I already gotten involved in something that I did not know was going to become a major problem for me.
Wow.
So I started it. And from pictures to more pictures to videos. And it just kept going on and on and on. I became a major struggle. A major struggle. I'd gotten my results already. But now I couldn't stop. Of course, we need to understand that pleasure is at the center of these things. Before we even talk about the spirituality of it and the health implications or the moral side to it, there's pleasure.
So what comes to your mind first is, I want pleasure.
Yes. And of course, there's already esteem issues that did not just go away.
Okay.
Right? And the peer pressure and stuff, all of those things combined to, it was a good feel, like, I'm angry or I'm bored or I feel the test, I need to feel good. Porn was that feel good, and it was a major struggle. I surprised myself in this journey. I like to say 10 years. You said 10 years. It's just cliches. It was really, beyond 10 years. So that's then another part of the story that I need to mention is the beginning of my journey out of it was speaking out. And that's when I prayed. The
beginning was speaking out.
Speaking out.
So speaking out is important.
It's a must. The Bible says now, say confess. Then you forsake. But there must be a confession.
There must be a confession first.
Yes. So that was the beginning. I prayed about it. I never felt close to God. Right? But at the same time, growing up, every other person around me say, pastor son, prof son, good boy. I was saying, I had parents of my friends that would come meet me and say, Tolu, you talking to your friend.
Thinking you were the good boy.
Because I had an appearance of
the good boy.
Yeah, I will not to play that game very well. You give, you show the behavior that your parents and other people are comfortable with.
Wow.
To take eyes off you.
I need you to come again on that. You played that game.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes, very well.
So you can put up an appearance.
Yeah. That would take eyes off you.
Wow.
So nobody's going to be in your business, as it were. So, because it takes courage to come out of these things. And that courage, is the sign of that courage is speaking out.
Sign of courage is speaking out.
Let me stop there for now.
Wow. Already I'm saying to myself, this is going to be one of those episodes where I need my tissues near me. So I'm just trying to, because, especially as a mother of a son, I'm thinking of the struggles of a young boy. Here, you've gone to school. Your parents' intention was my son to go to school. And, and in school, you faced abuse.
Yeah.
You faced ridicule from your mates that has made you go into what you never intended to go to, which now became an issue for you, which you now had to be dealing with. And I'm thinking, oh my word, how much more could he have had to deal with? And these things were like foundation of the things that later happened to you in life. Wow. So at what point did you know that you had a problem? Because you said you spoke out.
Yeah.
So at what point did you know that you had a problem and you needed to speak up?
I got to a point where I of course, once the urge comes, I definitely must do a practical to the theory. So
oh my word.
once I think it, once I see something.
They say once you can think it, you can do it.
Yeah, but in the negative, in this,
in the negative.
So, and then, the other external triggers, things I had no control over. Like a lady that's not sitting properly. Someone that bends down to pick something and I'm seeing, those are triggers. So even if I'm in class and I've seen something, I'm just waiting for my private time. I must do something about what I have seen.
Wow.
Or what I feel.
Wow.
So that was a part of it. Another part of it that got me worried was I became scared even around children. That's why I need to do something about this because it just keeps getting worse. It never gets better. But we're under the illusion that we can sort it out.
So are you saying that the sexual feelings does not know age?
No.
If it comes raging?
No.
Especially when you have issues to deal with. Because here you are saying that you now start getting uncomfortable with children.
Yes.
Why? Because you thought you could defile the children.
Yes. I knew it was a matter of time it was going to happen.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, for every what I call problem adults that have some sort of sexual behaviors in the negative or struggles, it started from the prime. The Bible talks about it now, flee youthful. It's and there are many factors beyond, the ones I've talked about of what got me into it. Family, it's too important. My parents did their best, and they were amazing parents.
Yes.
But again, maybe their commitment to church and work and stuff may have made them, lose sight of one or two areas or two things. So I didn't grow up, confident having personal conversations.
Wow.
And that's why I'm very intentional about my children. There is nothing that they can't tell me about. Okay. They know that I am the safe space. It's intentional. So my parents did their best. And I'm grateful that they even did what they did, what they knew best to do at that point. So I'm taking that, from them. And I'm also, I know better. And there's some things that I need to readjust if I'm going to create that safe space for my own children.
Wow. So what I hear you say is that parents must be a safe space for their children to come to.
Yeah. The family is the foundation of everything.
Yes.
Everything, the society, the business world, everything, the family is the family. So it's from the family, the upbringing that the child, builds the personality, the ideologies, his worldview, So, and that's what the devil does. He attacks it. And how does he attack it? Majorly the father. He's the head.
Yes.
I don't know what people say now. Some people want equal whatever rights. Well, I'm sorry. Some of these movements that is pushing for equal rights, it's shown now that it is self-destructing because it's not sustainable. The way God has made it to be, anything that makes us go against it, we're only going to have ourselves to blame.
So when you go against the order of things, you create a problem.
Yes.
So there's no way you're going to say the father figure. It always creates that gap.
Yeah.
That gap is always there.
90% plus of people that have opened up to me. Right. I get a lot of mails and calls. I read your book. I watched a clip or a video of you online. I joined a session, whatever, and I feel like you're the person I can talk to. When we start conversations, it's daddy issues. Over 90%.
Wow.
And it makes sense because when I look at it from research and a logical perspective, I realize that in our prison systems all over the world is male dominated. 90% plus of inmates or prisoners all over the world are men.
Amen.
So if you separate all men in prison aside, let's leave aside the women. all men in prison. So, just put them aside. That's all men in prison. Research also still shows that I think over 70% plus were raised by single mothers. It's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. So if we're not even talking about it from a spiritual point of view,
yes,
which is very important, right? I want to be logical about it. We'll see that. I mean, the place of the father is what is being attacked. Once the devil can get the father, once the father can, as we say, lose guard, and begins to goof and all that, is creating problems, for the children.
We always say this on the Now Show, fathers, your role is so critical in your families. You're hearing this one more time. It's very important for the father to be a present father, not just a father in name, but a present father. Because if you're not there, it's going to cause problems for the family unit, as Tolu said. So I pray for fathers, that they will come to an understanding, a deep understanding of their roles and everything. So coming back to your book, Beneath the Sheets, Overcoming the Stronghold of Pornography and Masturbation. It's so interesting because pornography and masturbation, especially those subjects, most people don't come out to talk about them. Especially people who are involved in these things. They like to deny it and say, and here you are saying that these things exist.
Yeah, it does.
I'm going to come out, talk about it, because I know that this stronghold can be overcome because you have done it. Yeah. You are an overcomer. You are a winner over pornography and masturbation. I must commend you. I must commend you. And I just want to know, what made you write this book?
Very interesting story. I was working somewhere, that's 2017, right? And I got bored with work. I just got bored. So I went to do something. So I paid for a training, a professional training, just like a 1 week boot camp, right? I didn't even have the money. I borrowed for it. Remember? Wow. I felt like nobody's pushing me or forcing me. You don't have to stress, I borrowed for it. And I went, it was out of, was under states. And it was a good one. I was even the governor, as it were, of that said, and on the last day, one of the facilitators was giving his presentation, professional career stuff, right? And he just dropped, it was just heavy, that you should write about, and the person, of course, was also a pastor, incidentally, but he's a serious person in the corporate space. So I struggled with it, and then when he finished the session, I determined, let me just walk up to him. I remember February 2017. So after the session, we took pictures. So I walked up to him, I greeted him, said, "Thank you for your session." So I said, "Can I discuss something personal with you?" I know that I'm to write a book, and I want to commit to you, that I want to invite you to the launching of the book sometime this year.
Wow.
I just received, and that's literally what I did. And the person that I spoke to happens to be someone who loves to, acquire knowledge and got interested, And I did that because I knew myself. I knew what I received that I should write, and I didn't want to throw it away. I knew that so who goes writing a book about what is supposed to be a very personal shameful experience, but I knew that was God that was trying to hey, you need to, do something about this. So I committed myself because this person is a serious person. I don't want to look unserious, So I told him that this is what I received. I'm to write something, but that I'm going to invite you for the launch sometime. And by the grace of God, I was able to start writing. I was typing. I didn't.
Amazing.
I was typing. I had one tiny mini laptop back then. So even if I'm driving, something drops, I'll park
Quickly. Wow.
Control S, save,
Wow.
close the laptop. And I wrote this in 3 months. And November the same year, 2017, I launched the book.
Amazing.
And I was
As you said.
Yes, as I said.
The power of our words.
Yes, yes. I'm not a writer. I only read things specific to my career.
Okay.
I rather watch documentaries or stuff. I'm very, but that happened. I was able to get, fortunately for me, Pastor Aduradola to do the forward, and that was another interesting story.
Wow.
Because my mind just went to this kind of topic. I need someone that is well respected, globally.
Yes.
That would at least increase how people are going to receive, and that's what came to my mind.
Okay.
Came as an idea. So I pushed for it, and I wrote an application, got a mail. I was able to see his wife, Mommy Gio, we call her Mommy Gio.
Yes.
Yeah, and I told her I want that, and she told me that what you've asked for is hard. That, do you know the number of letters and requests they also attend to? People have booked him down 2-3 years
in advance.
But I didn't. I said no. I have to. I just help me give it to him. Just whatever. She said okay. And she did, and I got a reply. I got a mail that he appreciates, what I'm, what I'm writing about. But
yes.
that he's, not. He doesn't have the time to really go through it and do it forward. That I should look to someone else, but his prayers are with me. And I remember when I got that mail, I was telling my wife, I said, no, I don't agree. I don't know why. But I didn't do anything about it. In fact, the option, the second option to do the forward, I already, reached out to the person, and he even gave me 2 different copies. I should choose whichever one. But I think maybe a month or 2 after I got an email.
Awesome.
The forward. And that's why in his letter and his signature, I told the printer, just put it there like that, and just for people to receive, because it's a very interesting topic that a lot of people do not want to. But when they see, some people read it, just because they see that's name. So that was it.
While reading your bio, you're married now with 2 wonderful children. So I need to know the place. I mean, I don't want to say the place. You know how it is. I mean, you had all these issues you were struggling with, and yet you still went ahead and you got married. Was there a role that your wife played with?
Yes, definitely. And 2 have become 1. When I met my wife through this, my best friend that I called. When I first had and they were friends.
How interesting.
Yeah,
wow.
Very interesting. So he traveled for a course in pilot school, right? And then he has been friends with my wife.
Okay.
Yeah. And he actually had intentions to take it a step further.
So you were the sharp guy.
Well, I said God led me.
Yes.
So he came home, maybe one of his breaks, and said, Tolu, I want to go and see one of my friends. Let's go stop by at our office. So I just tagged along. Right. And then when we got there, he introduced, this is my best friend from childhood, Tolu, this is my friend, Ife, and then I just said hi, I just sat down, so they were gisting. I was just on my own. Then they finished gisting. Then it was time to go. I greeted. Yeah. And then outside, when we were going out, I told my guy, I said, there's something about this babe. He said, Tolu, you have started now. You're always off. You always, the way your mind works. I said, no, there's something about this babe. But I left her out. Do you know, 2 days or the next day, I came alone. I went back to that place alone.
Wow.
And I told her, I just greeted her. I said, do you remember me? I came with. Yeah. I said, can I have some time with you? I said, that you're my wife. That was the person.
Just like that.
I'm telling you, so it's true.
Wow.
I said, you're my wife. However, I don't know you yet. But I know that you're my wife. I don't know, but now we need to build this friendship sincerely. And I told her that I've had a strong struggle.
Wow.
I'm coming out of it.
So from the word go.
The first day, So, I told her, this is my job. However, I'm better. I'm nowhere I want to be. But trust me, I'm
You're walking
I'm so
towards
far
it.
from where I used to be. So I need you to know about that. So for me,
so disclosure is very important.
It's too important
In a relationship.
For me, that was
from the word go. Yes.
If she said, no, I can't do that, maybe what I believe I got from God was wrong. But she embraced it. And and that was 2013. Yeah, 2013 March. I remember vividly.
Wow.
2013 March. We got married 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, that is just the ultimate example of two becoming one.
Yeah.
When you take on the other person's issues and say, we're going to hold your hand through this. We're going to walk together through this, and we're going to overcome this together. So we should be celebrating your wife. You know, Mrs. Aduradola, we're celebrating you because, I mean, through you, this has come, and you've helped Tolu to overcome, to be that super overcomer and winner. Yeah. Wow. You know, it just gives me joy that we can even talk about this subject that people consider, they shy away from it. And, there's stigma around it. And I don't know why I want you to address, why stigma around issues like this?
I think it's the mindset for a lot of us, right? I mean, according to God's standard,
yes,
son that killed and another person that lied, they're the same to God. It's at human level that we categorize, wrongdoing.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
As human, but before God, the person that killed and the person that stole a pencil, they're the same.
Wow.
So we need to first, and we need to also understand that the best of us is still a human being.
I need you to come again.
The best of us is still a human being.
The best of us is still a human being.
However, it's not an excuse.
Amazing.
It's not an excuse to continue to indulge in what you know is wrong. You must take steps. You must set boundaries. You must do things. So, you must be accountable to do things to ensure that, hey, I am contributing and putting in effort to be a better person. And then for those of us that God has saved, to also please God, on a daily basis, to the point where we are also, as it were, role models and mentors to raise other people.
Well,
so I'm saved to also be able to create the platform for others to be saved. That's from the spiritual perspective. And from even general perspective. I've got a lot of interesting people, atheists, reach out to me. Because it's a struggle, it's a behavioral challenge, it's an obsessive, compulsive, disorder. Research even says that the damage that cocaine addiction does to the brain. They scan the brain of a normal person and the brain of a cocaine addict. Is visibly different, wide apart, and we see that the brain of a cocaine addict is damaged. Now, science is saying that brain damage is on the same line, the same with a porn addict.
Wow.
But I know that porn addiction is even worse. Because when it comes to drugs, you're relying on substance. If a drug addict gets into serious trouble and goes to prison and is in, what's the worst, maybe solitary confinement, the fact that he doesn't have access, he will act up, or he doesn't have access to it, he can't use it.
From what you're saying, I'm going to cut you short. You know why? Because you've just said to me, I've got to bring you back to do another episode on strongholds and addictions, because there's so much, and when I just said to myself, that the other time that Tolu has, because we have this thing on the Now Show where we say the final word, something that you want to leave our viewers with so that they do not even remember everything that we have discussed. And you have taken the final word already, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So I'll just wrap and say, it's been an amazing time talking with my brother, my friend, Tolu Aduradola. And so, Leke, thank you very much. So until we come your way again on the Now Show, this is your regular host, Abosede Ozaosho, signing off with Tolu Aduradola.
Don't forget to like this video. And if you haven't, Subscribe to the Now Show channel today and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any video that is uploaded. Thank you for watching.